Hey, welcome to a new video. In our daily lives, we're surrounded by a multitude of objects, many of which have a deeper meaning or more specific purpose than initially appears. Often we don't realize that these objects we use day in day out serve distinct functions.
Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video.
You probably don't give much thought to your earphones or earbuds. You put them in your ears, turn up the music, and head to the gym or wherever you're going. But if you even take a closer look at the earbuds, you might have noticed a couple of extra holes in the plastic casing. Have you ever wondered what those are for? They're not for the microphones, actually. These holes are actually there to allow air in. The ventilation helps the speaker to move more freely, resulting in a deeper bass and improved acoustics. Similar holes are often found in the design of other earphones, serving various purposes. For example, improving sound quality, relieving pressure on the eardrum, and allowing ambient sounds for safety. These holes facilitate the exchange of air, a function that is also common in home and car speakers.
I really like spaghetti, preferably with minced meat and ketchup, but I always prepare too much of it. Luckily, I was able to find a solution for this online. A spaghetti spoon has a hole in it. At first, I thought this hole would allow you to let the pasta leak out, because the water would then pass through the hole. But that's not the case. The spoon prevents you from preparing too much spaghetti. The round hole is the measure for one person, so you can measure exactly how much spaghetti you need for the number of people you make the dish for.
Microwave ovens have become an integral part of modern kitchens. Thanks to an American engineer, Percy Spencer, today's world can enjoy this amazing tech. In 1946, the first microwave was sold under the patent Radarange. Perhaps you've wondered why microwave ovens actually have some sort of mesh. This is designed so you can look through it to see your food. But the mesh would also keep the microwave from escaping and keeping radiation in. You probably don't give much thought to your earphones or earbuds. You put them in your ears, turn up the music, and head to the gym or wherever you're going. But if you even take a closer look at the earbuds, you might have noticed a couple of extra holes in the plastic casing. Have you ever wondered what those are for? They're not for the microphones, actually. These holes are actually there to allow air in. The ventilation helps the speaker to move more freely, resulting in a deeper bass and improved acoustics. Similar holes are often found in the design of other earphones, serving various purposes. For example, improving sound quality, relieving pressure on the eardrum, and allowing ambient sounds for safety. These holes facilitate the exchange of air, a function that is also common in home and car speakers.
An overflow hole is a round hole often seen in a sink. The hole is quite high, but why is it there? An overflow hole prevents the water in the sink from flooding when you walk away, for example, and forget to turn off the tap. Because the hole's there, the water doesn't overflow, but instead goes through the hole to the drain of your sink, so the sink doesn't overflow. This hole can only be used when the drain plug is closed. There's also sinks that don't have an overflow hole, so it's possible that the water will come over the edge, and the water will spread over the floor. This may cause water damage.
Next time you approach a pedestrian crossing, you take a moment to inspect the traffic light closely. You might discover a discreet but crucial feature, a hidden button designed to assist visually impaired or blind individuals. This innovative mechanism is for them to feel and understand that traffic has stopped, indicating it's safe to cross. Technically, it's not a conventional button. Rather, it's a ribbed object facing downward. When the pedestrian light turns green, indicating their priority, the object begins to rotate. But what about the auditory signals for visually impaired individuals? While some crossings emit beeps, not all do. When two crossings are close together, neither may produce a sound to prevent confusion. Herein lies the brilliance of the rotating object. It's also suitable for deaf or blind individuals who may not hear the beep. Originally developed by the University of Nottingham in the 1980s, this design started to emerge around 1989. However, not all crossings are managed by local authorities, so there's no legal obligation for them to ensure accessibility. Cats are very loved by many people, but they're also very mysterious animals. And if you have a cat yourself, then you know that one of the mysterious things a cat does is knead with their front paws on a blanket, for example. Kneading goes back to times when cats did this in tall grass or leaves. It looks cute, but why do cats do this in the first place? Kneading might provide a comforting feeling, which the cat learned when she was a kitten during breastfeeding by the mother cat. Cats may also knead to mark their territory. In this way, they release their scent onto the blanket. So when the cat does this to you, it actually means that she's the boss of ya. You probably have a bottle or two of hand sanitizer lying around the house. But did you know that hand sanitizer, besides being great for cleaning your hands on the go, also serves as a versatile stain remover? Because the main ingredient in most hand sanitizers is alcohol, it can tackle various stains, much like rubbing alcohol can. This means you can rely on it to remove ink stains. as well as hot sauce stains, grease, grass stains, and almost any type of makeup, including lipstick. Hand sanitizers can even break through the dull spots on silver. Instead of spending money on expensive eyeglass cleaner fluid, just use hand sanitizer to remove fingerprints and hairspray residue from your glasses. And if you're in a pinch and forgot your deodorant, hand sanitizer can leave you smelling fresh by fighting the bacteria that causes odor in your armpits. Applying a bit of hand sanitizer can also provide a relief for inflammation caused by pimples and insect bites. Additionally, if you're out of dry shampoo, hand sanitizer can help refresh your hair. Just massage a small amount onto your scalp for a quick fix. Finally, if your mirror is sprayed with hairspray, hand sanitizer can come to the rescue. Apply some to a piece of paper towel and wipe the mirror to effortlessly restore its shine.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought the box you're taking with you is meant to eat out of it right away. If you order noodles or pick them up somewhere, I'm sure you've noticed that you always get the food in these boxes. This box should be folded open to make it easier to eat. By unfolding the box, it becomes a takeaway plate. Personally, I've never seen anyone do this before, but now that you know what it's for, you can try it next time. Enjoy your meal.
There's times when you don't necessarily want your bananas to be overly ripe, but as bananas ripen, they release ethylene gas, causing them to turn brown. Fortunately, there are methods to slow down this browning process. One approach is to wrap plastic around the crown of the bananas, where the bunch is held together. This helps to reduce the release of ethylene gas and thereby slows down the ripening process. Another technique is to separate the bananas from the bunch and store them individually. Since bananas emit high levels of ethylene gas, separating them can minimize the gas concentration, and thus slow down the browning process. Additionally, it's crucial not to expose bananas to moist environments, as this can accelerate ripening. Instead, store them in an airtight container to preserve their freshness over a longer period. For even longer preservation periods, consider freezing your bananas. Freezing not only slows down the ripening process, but also allows you to enjoy them in smoothies or baked goods whenever you desire.
Many padlocks have a small hole next to the keyhole. Sometimes they can also be on the side. The small hole at the bottom or at the side of a padlock is there to lubricate the lock or inject it with oil, so that it opens easily when you open the lock with a key. The hole also serves as a filter when the lock is used underwater.
The King card holds a special status as the oldest and most recognized court card in the history of playing cards. Its origin is likely traced back to the Persian Ganijave, where kings were depicted sitting on thrones, representing their superior rank. Playing cards have traveled all over the world, with virtually every culture claiming some form of invention or adaptation. Although contemporary card games like blackjack and bridge enjoy widespread popularity, the intricate design and rich history behind a deck of cards often goes unnoticed. The portrayal of seated kings were prevalent across Europe, with the Spanish introducing standing kings during the 15th century. As card-playing traditions evolved, the French developed their own distinctive deck patterns, inspired by earlier Spanish designs. Remarkably, many Spanish court designs were reused when the French pioneered the unique card system around 1480. In England, card imports from Rowan continued until the early 17th century when foreign imports were prohibited. The distinctive portrayal of the King of Hearts stems from centuries of imperfect copying from English card makers. Over time, the axe of the king became obscured, creating the illusion that he's stabbing his own head with his sword.
Donuts are one of the most popular deep-fried buns in the world. Not only because of their flavors, but also because they have a hole in the middle. The story begins with American sailor Hanson Gregory, who invented the donut at the age of 16. According to one theory, he was aboard a ship and during a storm, he speared his sandwich on a wheel so he could eat it later. But why do donuts even have holes these days? The problem is that the middle part of the donut didn't cook properly, so the idea was to make a hole in the middle so that the donut was cooked evenly. Hats are of course often used in winter when it's cold, but they're also used as an extra addition to an outfit. You see a lot of hats passing by with a pom-pom. It's a ball on top of a hat, and you think it's for a decoration. However, that's not the case. A lot of years ago, the sailor shanties had to wear these hats, and if they became very fond of them, they could bump their heads. The pom-pom just gave a little extra protection they needed, and so it doesn't just look nice and funny, but it also gives you protection.
Have you ever noticed the small rubber hairs on your brand new car tire? While many have speculated that they serve as indicators for tire wear, assist in reducing noise, or facilitating air circulation, these rubber hairs actually serve no post-production function. They're simply a byproduct of the tire manufacturing process. During the production of tires, rubber is injected into a tire mold, and air pressure is used to evenly distribute the liquid rubber. When heat and air are applied, there's potential for air bubbles to form between rubber and the mold. To ensure the mold is completely filled, small vent holes allow air to escape, helping to push the rubber into every crevice. As a result, tiny rubber particles emerge from these vent holes and solidify, sticking to the tire once it's removed from the mold.
Have you ever noticed that there are brushes on the sides of an escalator? I think most people think that these brushes are meant to stop dirt from getting in your shoes, or to clean them, but that's not the case. These brushes are there because there's a gap between the stairs and the side, which can be dangerous, if, for example, animals or children don't pay attention. Also, your shoelaces can get stuck, or your stuff can fall between them, so the escalator brushes are there for safety.
It's a commonly known fact that carbonated beverages quickly lose their fizz once they're opened. Even if you screw the cap tightly back on, achieving a perfect seal is nearly impossible, which allows the carbonation to escape. So what's the purpose of the plastic disc underneath the cap of the soda bottle? This layer, known as the liner, serves as a membrane to create an airtight seal, preserving the carbonation in the drink. The plastic disc underneath the cap of a soda bottle has multiple functions. Firstly, it ensures a tight seal to prevent leaks or spills. Additionally, it acts as a seal indicating whether the bottle has been opened prior to purchase. Unlike water or juice bottles, soda bottles, especially those made of plastic, don't have a flat bottom, but 5 bumps or ribs. These bumps are not only for aesthetic purposes, but they also significantly enhance the drink. These bumps are not only for aesthetic purposes, but they also significantly enhance the strength of the bottle.
Pay close attention to this next topic, because for anyone who is often in the car, this could be life-saving. In fact, in many cars you can detach the headrest, and use it in an emergency to smash the window of your car. But according to several experts, this was not the reason for the headrest. The headrest was installed so that it could be easily adjusted and removed for cleaning. The purpose of the headrest is to prevent whiplash, but should you ever get into trouble, you now know a way to escape from the car. You simply tap the headrest into a corner of the window, causing the glass to break. So should you get stuck in the car, this is one way to get out.
VAR stands for Video Assistance Referee, a system used in soccer matches to aid referees in enforcing FIFA's rules through video review. The VAR, acting as a referee with the independent access to match footage, only intervenes in cases of a clear and obvious error, or a serious missed incident. Operating from the video operation room, the VAR is supported by an assistant and a replay operator. They communicate solely with on-field referees via a button system to minimize distractions. The official match ball of the 2022 FIFA World Cup featured new connected ball technology, providing information to the referees. This technology, integrated into every match ball during the tournament, enables real-time collection of spatial positioning data. This is achieved through sensors embedded in the balls, operating at a remarkable speed of 500 frames per second. The collected data is transmitted in real time to a local positioning system, facilitated by a network of antennas around the playing field.
You probably never thought about this, but the tab in a can does have a function. There's a hole in the tab, and the hole is meant to put your straw through it. We all know how annoying it is when your straw floats up. You miss it or it's blown away by the wind. In my opinion, it's a perfect solution, and very handy if you didn't already know this. You can also use the hole to hook something behind it to open the can. Think, for example, of girls with long nails who can't open it easily.
For over a century, Heinz has been synonymous with the number 57. The company's iconic slogan, 57 varieties, played a crucial role in early marketing strategy and became a cornerstone of the brand's identity. Even today, this slogan adorns Heinz ketchup bottles. However, the truth behind the number 57 is far from what one might expect. When Pittsburgh business magnate H.J. Heinz coined the slogan in 1896, there were actually not 57 varieties of Heinz products available. This remained true even with the introduction of Heinz 57 sauce shortly thereafter. Despite there now being hundreds of Heinz variants, the number 57 has persisted for over 126 years. Interestingly, the significance of 57 wasn't based on actual enumeration of products. Instead, it was chosen by Henry Heinz himself, the company's founder. He felt a sense of mystique and charm associated with the number, which was a combination of his own lucky number, 5, and his wife's lucky number, 7.
You probably noticed that with some clothes you get a plastic bag with a button in it, but also an extra piece of fabric. You might think that this extra piece is meant to repair your clothes when there's a hole in it. But apparently the real reason here is that you first wash the fabric in the washing machine before using your new purchase. This way you can see how the fabric reacts to your detergent. It would be a shame if your new piece of clothing shrunk or gets discolored right away.
Have you ever wondered why the edges of a measuring tape are so sharp? Measuring tapes need to strike a balance between being thin enough to roll up compactly and yet retain enough rigidity to extend. This is achieved by making them from thin metal, allowing flexibility without compromising durability. But the functionality of a measuring tape doesn't stop there. Have you ever noticed that the tape of a measuring tape is curved? This concave shape serves as a crucial function. It helps maintain the stiffness of the tape. It helps maintain the stiffness of the tape when it's extended. The curve allows the tape to stand out during measurement, making it easier for you to read the measurement accurately. Additionally, if you look closely at the bottom of the hook of the measuring tape, you'll notice a serrated edge. This feature isn't just for decoration, it has a practical function. In situations where you don't have a marking instrument readily available, you can use the serrated edge to make a mark on the material being measured. Simply run the serrated edge back and forth over the surface, creating a temporary mark for the reference. Have you ever flown on a plane to another country? If so, have you ever noticed that there is a small hole at the bottom in the middle of the window? If so, have you ever wondered what that is for? Not to worry. To reassure you, the hole is not dangerous. In fact, the plane needs it so that everyone stays safe. This little hole is actually called a vent hole, and its main job is to help regulate the pressure changes when the plane reaches a certain altitude. The pressure differences inside and outside the plane can cause pressure on the plane. The vent hole helps equalize the pressure. Not only that, but it also controls the temperature differences. Without this little hole, the plane's windows would easily fog up and you wouldn't be able to enjoy the view while flying. So, as you can hear, the little hole plays an important role while flying. The pattern of dimples on golf balls wasn't always there, but as manufacturers recognized how crucial they are to performance, they have intentionally incorporated dimples into their designs since then. Each dimple is precisely and symmetrically placed to optimize the ball's aerodynamics, resulting in improved flight characteristics. The dimples interact with the surrounding air, creating microturbulence, which allows the ball to move more efficiently and predictably through the air. By keeping the airflow closer to the ball, the dimples reduce drag, provide backspin, and generate pockets of turbulence that create lift, allowing the ball to fly higher. We all know Tic Tac candies. They come in different flavors, and they come in rectangular boxes. You almost always come across them at the checkout of a supermarket. If you want to take the Tic Tac out of the box, several of them will always end up in your hand, and then you put the rest back in the box or put them all in your mouth at the same time. But this has been thought about. In the clasp is a kind of container that has exactly the size of one Tic Tac. If you tilt the box in the right position, one Tic Tac will fall into it, so you don't have to give it a hard time. It's a common annoyance. You never seem to have the right coin with you when you need it most, especially when shopping. As more and more people prefer digital payments over cash, a convenient life hack has emerged to assist those lacking in coins. An inventive individual faced with the problem of not having coins for a coin slot simply used the rounded end of an old key. By the way, have you ever wondered what the loops of shopping carts are for? Contrary to what many people think, they're not meant to secure seats. Instead, these loops usually found on the back of child seats serve a practical function. They're designed to hold your coats and shopping bags, keeping your meats, snacks, fruits, and fragrant items separated and organized when you shop. So the next time you're at the supermarket, make use of these handy loops to enhance your shopping experience. Have you ever eaten a lollipop, and have you always wondered why there is a hole in the stick? I'm gonna tell you, but first I'll tell you the history behind the lollipop. You see, it's not of the modern world. Thousands of years ago, a similar version of the lollipop existed. In fact, archaeologists have discovered that the ancient Chinese, Egyptians, and Arabs were already eating lollipops. Only these were lollipops made of fruit and nuts with honey. In 1908, the lollipop as we know it today was officially sold on the market. When you finish your lollipop and only the stick is left, you notice that there is a hole in the stick. But why is this? The candy is melted in that hole, so the lollipop stays attached to the stick. So if the hole wasn't there, the candy might probably fall off. How can we prevent drowsy or distracted drivers from causing accidents? An effective strategy is the installation of rumble strips along road shoulders. These strips, consisting of raised or grooved patterns in the pavement, produce an audible rumble and a vibration in the steering wheel when a vehicle drives over them. The sensory feedback can jolt a drowsy driver awake, providing crucial time to regain control of the vehicle and avoid potential accidents. These roadside runoff crashes have devastating consequences and constitute a significant portion of traffic fatalities nationwide, especially in rural areas. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that implementing rumble strips could halve the number of accidents. Additionally, rumble strips offer additional safety benefits beyond just preventing accidents due to drowsy drivers. When installed in travel lanes, they can alert drivers to changing traffic conditions, such as reducing speed for upcoming toll booths or intersections with traffic lights.
If you have an iPhone, turn the back towards you. There's a very small black dot near your camera. This dot is there for a reason. It's a microphone. It's ideal when making a movie because this little microphone captures sounds from all angles. So your iPhone has 3 microphones. One at the front, bottom, but now also at the back. Whether this is also the case with other smartphones, I have no clue. If you know, let me know in the comments.
It turns out that many of us have been wearing towels wrong after showering all this time. A revelation surfaced on TikTok, courtesy of Braden Singley, who shared a groundbreaking method for securely wrapping a towel around the waist without it slipping down. Like countless others, he wrapped the towel around his body after a shower, tucking in the excess fabric. However, he soon realized that this method only resulted in the towel unraveling and eventually falling off. In search of a solution, he devised a new technique. He took the excess fabric into the towel and rolled it up a few times. Interestingly, Braden's revelation has garnered recognition. Some viewers claim to have been aware of this trick all along. Nonetheless, his TikTok video undoubtedly shed light on a practical and efficient method to ensure towels stay securely wrapped around the waist.
If you are someone who loves crafting, then you may already know this. Hobby knives are used in many crafting activities, and what I'm about to show you is useful in case you don't already know this. The extendable knife is a design that was released in 1956 by the Japanese manufacturer Olfa Corporation. When the blade becomes blunt, you have to break it off. You might normally do this with other tools, but these hobby knives have a built-in cutter that you can use to get a new blade. Just make sure you cut it safely and don't point it at you. Now that you know this, next time you won't have to reach for a pair of pliers.
Nowadays, metal rack guards have become almost an essential accessory for securing mooring lines, from smaller vessels to colossal cruise ships and cargo vessels. Despite their seemingly simple nature, these protectors were not always common until relatively recent times. The earliest patents for rack guards for mooring lines didn't emerge until the early 1900s. Prior to these developments, the vulnerability of moored ships to pests was a persistent concern. When a houseboat or other vessel is anchored along the shore with mooring lines, it inadvertently provides a convenient pathway for pests to come aboard. Even when securely moored, rats and mice can easily scamper across the ropes and find their way onto the ship. In response to this challenge, a simple yet effective solution was devised. Enter the round disc-shaped rack guard, an ingenious device designed to thwart rodent intrusion. Its use is straightforward. Simply open the door, slide the disc onto your mooring line, and release, effectively deterring rodents.
In women's underwear, there's an extra piece of fabric you won't encounter in men's underwear. Many men would be surprised to hear that even most women don't know what it's for. Women usually think that this is literally a bag for storing small personal items, but it certainly isn't. The extra piece of fabric is for women's hygiene. Especially with tight clothing pieces, it feels less tight and gives the extra protection against the thick seams of, for example, jeans.
Initially, all shortcuts in the Macintosh operating system were executed using the Apple key. However, when Steve Jobs noticed the abundance of Apple logos in the drop-down menus, he expressed his dissatisfaction, exclaiming, "There's too many apples. You're using our logo in vain." In search of an alternative, inventors consulted a simple dictionary and stumbled upon a little-known symbol mainly used in Swedish campgrounds. It's known as the serrated square symbol. This symbol, reminiscent of a castle with 4 towers, was commonly used on maps in Scandinavia to denote attractions or special locations. Believe it or not, when Apple introduced the Apple II computer, they didn't physically add extra keys. Instead, they repurposed the joystick button to act as traditional keys. This innovation facilitated easier gameplay with just a keyboard, while also effectively serving as modifier keys.
Have you always wondered how these things are made? As you can see, they are made in factories in large numbers of thousands by companies like Trojan. The very first condom was made by Julius Schmid and was made of lamb's gut, but they were also made thousands of years ago for protection against pests and even evil spirits. But today, latex is the main material used for condoms. They are created by glass molds that they dip into the latex to make them strong and smooth. Then they are dried in a machine. And finally, they will go through several tests, including air and water tests before they are packaged. And so now you know how these things are made to prevent reproduction. Whether you're enjoying a beer, a bottle of Coke, or sparkling water, there's a
There's a right way to hold your drink to keep it cooler for longer. Traditionally, our instinct is to grip glass bottles by their bodies, seeking a wider base and firmer hold. Holding a Coca-Cola bottle by the neck may initially feel a bit awkward. However, this is precisely where our approach needs adjustment. The bottle's neck is where we should grip our drinks. When we hold glass bottles by the base, our body heat is transferred to the liquid inside, causing it to warm up more quickly. Opt to hold your bottle by the neck. Though it may take some time to getting used to, holding a glass bottle in this manner effectively retains the chill for an extended period. Have you ever wondered why there's a hole in the pen villages? Maybe you think that the manufacturers make a hole in it so that the pen dries out more quickly, and therefore you often need to buy more pens. But this is not entirely true. A lot of people bite and chew on their pens. This can cause them to swallow and suffocate the cap. It costs thousands of lives worldwide every year. Manufacturers have taken a responsibility here by making a hole in the cap so that you can still get a little air when the cap gets stuck in your throat. Have you ever had the experience of walking to the parking lot and forgetting where you parked your car? This is obviously very annoying when you can't find your car. And even though you have remote car keys, if you don't have range, you still have no use for them. But there is a way to increase the range of the remote. This idea comes from a radio engineer named Tim Pozar. Hold your car keys to your head and then press the button. It's that simple. It may sound implausible, but this really should work. According to Tim, the fluids in your head make it a good conductor, and that increases the range of the distance. It's like using your head as an extended antenna. For better results, you could also place the metal key part against your chin and then open your mouth when you press the button. Try it out and let me know in the comments if it worked. If you're watching this video on a PC or laptop, take a look at the keyboard. The letters F and J are the only keys that have a raised line on them. This is for the people who type blind a lot. This way they know which key they're touching without even looking. When they feel the raised piece, they also know where the other letters are. Pretty handy if you ask me. Have you ever noticed small holes in your shoes, and not because of overwear? Shoe loops also serve a practical purpose when it comes to doing laundry. After washing your shoes, you can hang them up to dry using the loops. In some countries, owners sew fabrics onto their shoes, so that each pair can be easily identified and kept together during the washing process. This prevents shoes from getting mixed up and ensure each pair remains intact. Shoe loops serve another significant function, especially for professional athletes. They provide a convenient way to thread the laces through, allowing the laces to be tied around the ankle. This enhances the shoe's grip and prevents laces from getting caught during intense physical activity. It's a simple yet effective method to improve performance and comfort during sports. You may have noticed that shoe loops are usually made of reflective material. This is not only for aesthetic purposes, but also serves as a safety feature. The reflective material increases visibility, especially in low light conditions. And this is beneficial for those engaging in nighttime sports activities, such as a jog around the block. The reflective loops help ensure to be seen by others, enhancing overall safety. Your back pockets and front pockets are handy to put your phone or wallet in, but that little piece is not really practical. Still, the bag used to be really used. Around the 1830s, jeans were made as sturdy work pants for the cowboys. In those days, they still used a pocket watch. In the big pockets, they started to wear out, or the cowboys lost their pocket watch. So they came up with the idea to make a small, tight pocket. The small pocket was originally meant for a pocket watch, but nowadays we put other little things in it. Or we just don't use it at all. A tennis court fence serves as a crucial boundary that encloses the court, providing structure, safety, and security for players and spectators alike. Typically made of metal chains or chain link, these fences are known for their durability and resistance to impact. The dimensions of the fencing are designed to encompass the entire playing area, with a standard length of 78 feet and a width of 27 feet. Clay or sand-filled grass courts may have a lower fence height to accommodate the reduced bounce associated with these surfaces. A distinct feature often found on tennis court fences is a small rectangular door on the side. This door serves as practical purpose that goes beyond merely providing access to the court. It's strategically positioned to facilitate the removal of debris, especially fallen leaves from the surface of the court. Leaves and other debris tend to accumulate in the corner of the court, making them difficult to remove with traditional leaf-blowing methods. By incorporating a low gate in the corner of the fencing, maintenance crews can effectively address this issue. Before wines were stored in bottles, our ancestors used other things to store them, and they are all interesting. For example, Georgians in the year 6000 BC used kvevari to store their wine. The Egyptians used ceramic vessels they called amphorae. It wasn't until the 17th century that manufacturers began storing wine in bottles. But why do wine bottles actually have such a notch on the bottom? These are actually called punt.
and they are there for a number of reasons. As wine continues to ferment over time, pressure can build up inside. In a sense, the notch makes the bottle stronger so it can withstand the pressure. Punts are also there to make the bottle look bigger than it actually is. It is also a kind of marketing strategy. They are also said to help cool faster because it increases the surface area of the bottle. Where do you leave your wooden spoon or spatula while cooking? Do you just put it on the sink or leave it in the pan? I advise you not to do the latter, because your utensils can burn or even melt on the pan. The hole at the end of the handle is meant for you to put your ladle in there. Put it in a little bit slanted, so it hangs well. This way your sink won't get dirty and your utensils will stay intact. But of course, you could also use your pan to hang from the hole. The seemingly ordinary line where you sign personal checks is far from just a line. In fact, it's a cleverly disguised row with the words authorized signature, known as microprint. This microprint feature is often accompanied by a border marked with MP, representing the company's name. To fully appreciate this intricate security feature, one must scrutinize it closely with a magnifying glass or loupe. Though personal checks may seem outdated in this digital age, they still serve an essential purpose. They remain a preferred method for personal and account payments through the mail, and provide a workaround to avoid online transaction fees when paying friends or making purchases through online auctions. However, the potential threat of fraud lurks beneath the surface, especially with blank lines that could be manipulated to reflect any amount of money. To combat this threat, personal checks incorporate various security features into their design. For instance, the light blue ink is specifically chosen for its poor photocopy quality. The authorized signature line becomes completely blurred and ineligible when copied, serving as a deterrent to forgers. Which of these surprised you the most, and which one are you going to use? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.